14th. I don't trust my memory. March 14th, question mark, 2022. It is 2:48 p.m. I know that because I can see that part on my screen. I'm not going to check the date, though. I'm just going to say, yes, it's Monday, March 14th. Oh, puppy. Come on, somebody walking there, puppy. Hi. How are you? It's Matt. You are probably watching me on Facebook Live or Twitter Live or Twitch or YouTube or on the Haps app, wherever you're watching me. Thanks for watching me. I appreciate you. Hello. Oh, reporting for duty. Sweet. Lieutenant Commander Nerd. What's going on, my brother? How you doing, sir? Hello, as Ben would say. Would you care for a mint? I've been relaxing, not doing a hell of a lot of anything, not much. What about you? Nothing really. I went and I got something to eat, and then I parked my vehicle around the corner from the Chinese restaurant because there's like a side parking area to this mall, little strip mall type of thing. Yeah, it's sunny out, nary a cloud in the sky. It's about 40 mumble degrees, but it feels great. I threw a blanket on me in the back and just kind of curled up and watched some YouTube. Started to feel a little sleepy. I guess YouTube I get too comfortable and I'm watching YouTube and my eyes just start kind of start dozing. My eyes get heavy, but anyways, I was about to start and then I noticed I had a stain on my shirt. I'm the worst. Can't take me anywhere. There's a train. There it is. Where's the train horn? Oh, I guess I don't have to honk. What is the short one? So anyways, yeah. Anyways, so that's it. Just watching some videos on YouTube and checking out my Facebook and all that jazz. Nothing really to report. I notice I've dropped weight, right? Dropped about 70 pounds. And I don't know if it's because I'm dropping weight. Like I don't know why it's happening, but I'm noticing I'm getting saggy, and like for the most part, I don't care. But it's just sort of like I'm laying down with my hand like this, and I'm looking at my arm, and I'm like, I got dangly bits. I'm getting flabby, or I'm like, am I just losing fat all over, and like my body's just getting droopy? Is it just what happens with age? Like that's just what happens? Like my face isn't the way it used to be, so I think it's always been like that. So I just started doing that. I started grabbing places where, grabbing everywhere on me where I'm like, I'm so droopy. You just, maybe I just don't pay attention to myself very much. Have you watched any Discovery or Picard? I have. I think I might be all caught up on both. No, maybe not Picard. Um, I saw Q appeared, and then that was the end of the episode. Um, Discovery. What happened last time on Discovery? Um, on the last Discovery, um, the Book and that other guy went to a prison camp or something. Um, and he basically you found a little bit more about the guy. Um, and so they did like a little backstory on that dude, whatever his name is, the guy that feels like a bad guy. But I guess it's all shades of gray, anyways. I have some episodes to catch up on. All right, well I'll have to catch up on those. But yeah, but I'm not like super excited about Star Trek anymore. I guess I'll watch it, but it's not like I can't wait for the next episode. Oh, it's cool if you are though. I don't know. I guess it's like a my brain, my nerd brain is like a post-apocalyptic state. You know, the old world's gone, and I'm trying to rebuild, kind of thing. It's just how it feels. Like you get to a point where you lose all passion, and you try to get some of it back, and it's just not the same. That sort of thing. I don't know. I still nerd out about some stuff, but you know what I mean, though. Like maybe my tastes, not my tastes have changed because I still love Star Trek. I love the idea of Star Trek, more than. Well, let's face it, Picard is as close to old Star Trek as we're getting so far. Discovery, like, is a great show, but it's still not the same. Maybe when Orville comes back, maybe I'll feel stronger about that. Nothing is the same. Yeah. If they continued, like, so it's as far as Star Trek is concerned, what I think they should do, which I know they won't do, but you take the people that are making the Orville right now, because they have the feel, they have the camera feel, um, and the sets and stuff like that. Like that has very much the feel that we're thinking of. Like it ain't broke. No need to fix it. No need to go J.J. Abrams and all the lens flares and gorgeous cinematic HD type of shit. You don't need that. You can tell a great story. Um, Still need to watch episodes of season 2 of Orville. Um, but yeah, you don't need to up the ante. There's no need for that. It's not like someone's gonna watch it and be like, ugh, old sucks, or like, why don't they? We need, no one's gonna complain about less lens flares. Put it that way. No one's gonna be, yeah. What happened to the lens flares? There weren't enough explosions in this episode. Um, just caught up finally on 13th Doctor Who. Haven't gotten into Doctor Who. Was never into the Doctor Who. I watched a couple episodes back in the day with I forget his name, but the dude with the scarf, him. That was the first Doctor that I've been exposed to. Curly ginger dude with the scarf. I know Matt Smith. I know David Tennant. I love David Tennant. Tom Baker. That's right. Every time anybody mentions Doctor Who, I think I've said this before, but I'm like, David Tennant, love him. He's the best. He's just the best. Period. Like I'd love him to be on Star Trek. I'd love him to be on, have him be the new captain of Babylon 5, whatever. Just him. I want him on everything. David Tennant all day long. Why isn't David Tennant in the MCU? Is what I got. Watched a few episodes of older stuff, but I've seen all the new stuff. David Tennant is awesome. Yeah, David Tennant, put him in the MCU. I want David Tennant to play Nightcrawler. Calling it right now. Or Pete Wisdom, either one. But well, he is in the MCU technically because he was the purple guy. Um, but there you go. David Tennant is Pete Wisdom. You know who'd be great also on the same screen as David Tennant? What's his name? Played Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow and his own in that series. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's pretty rad too. The two of them on screen together. So, anyways, what I was saying was, I had today's Pie Day. It is Happy Pie Day. At some point today, I want to go eat some pie. I don't know where can I go to eat a slice of pie. Or would I have to resort to getting a snack pie? Like one of those cheap hostess jobbies. But the no name brand, store brand. Um, that's what I'll probably have to end up doing. Anyways. Um, so my pitch for Star Trek was you take the MCL cafeteria. I don't know, Jim Dandy. Oh, maybe. No. Well, maybe. I was gonna say Cracker Barrel. Uh, I'll probably just end up. I'll probably just end up getting a gas station pie or something. The you know the with the baked goods. Yeah, I know. Um. So yeah, okay. So here's my pitch. You take the folks that made Orville, right? All the Next Generation and Voyager, all those old Paramount folks. the crew that knew how to do a good sci-fi movie. You take all of them, and you kick off a series. I probably did pitch this before, but you kick off a series that takes place like maybe 10 or 15 years. So let's say 10 years, or not even, like maybe 5 years, between 5 to 10 years after Voyager ends. Um, and you give it enough time that people can actually take all that data from Voyager and integrate it into their databases. And they pick them. You get professional folks, Starfleet folks, who can just assimilate all that data into, pardon the pun, into their collective consciousness, into all that math, the maps of the points that they hit on their route from backtracking from was it the Traveler? What was he called? The Watcher, the Guardian, something like that. Since the pilot. And all the tech and everything that they picked up, all the ablative, the shielding and the all that stuff. And you have three ships. Okay, one of them, or I should say, two of them are Starfleet. One of them is an alien ship, like let's say a Klingon ship. In fact, I always like the idea of that Klingon, like a Klingon Starfleet hybrid technology. But you just build. I'm crazy about the Nova class. I love the Nova class ships. That's one of my personal favorite style ships. The I also like the NX-01, so maybe they'll build a new ship um, based off of those designs as well, but just like a different scale. Kind of like the Akira, but they rename it. Um, what was the dude's name? Trip. His name was it Archer? Remember Malcolm? Remember Travis? Remember Hoshi? And Trip's real name was, no, not Connor Trenier, but the character. Um, because I was gonna say Archer class, but there was already an Archer class. But the idea of naming it after Tucker, a Tucker class vessel, sure, that would work. But basically, they took a lot of they found the old schematics and decided, they're gonna sort of a celebration of um, Starfleet and their accomplishments in the past and whatnot. Like you could line it up with some anniversary, and they're going to use the board technology. They're going to use the Klingon tech and kind of just mix it up with all the different a new era of Starship. You just scale it up because everyone's like the NX-01 was too small and whatnot and whatever. So and this is just my personal taste. Maybe they don't even do that, but it's a neat idea. So you make one a science vessel, you make one an escort vessel, In fact, no, the Klingon ship would be an escort. You'd have a science vessel, and I don't know what you would call the other Starfleet vessel. Um, like maybe maybe two science, maybe a science and a medical, maybe whatever. Um, but you'd have three ships, and their only mission, right, is to just backtrack the Voyager's trail and try to, like, we've made contact with so many different species. They're like, we that's a uncharted space that uh people week medical ship that Captain Beverly Picard had on the school ship. Yeah, yeah, that would be cool. um I think that was um oh, that was just on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, that sort of ship was a pretty good idea too. um you have three ships that are just going to travel Voyager's route in reverse. Like, they know that they're on a one-way mission, because I was going to say maybe they're going to go travel a certain ways and then come back. I'm like, no, you know what you're in for when you're in Starfleet. There's an adventure to be had, there's a purpose to be had, and your life is in space, and that's just it. Like, the whole idea is to do something together as Starfleet. The whole idea was to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, etc. So just that's what they are going to do as a three ship team. They're going to travel out in that direction, meet who they're going to meet. uh, you know you just the people that are dedicating their lives towards a mission, because honestly, no matter where you go, uh, to stay in the same place is just not what some people want. You know, to go and wander a certain distance and then return and then come back home, and then go wander another direction and come back home. Like, some people just aren't cut out for that sort of thing. Some people are like, no, it's time to blaze a trail, because that's what you want to do. You want to do a wagon train of the stars. That was my point of it. Wagon train of the stars. Because that's the type of person that I would be, now that I think of it, at this age in my life. And I would even have the captain of the main ship, heading the whole team. All three ships going together. The person that's in charge of the whole thing is Captain Naomi Wildman, and that's just what they're gonna do. They're gonna head out, uh, and backtrack Voyager's Voyager's whole deal. The Oregon Trail. Well, okay, so in the Star Trek role playing game, I started a session with these guys, with a couple guys, before I came up to Knoxville, and I had a medical ship. No, it was a science vessel. It was a Nova class, and it was called the Caroline Herschel, which was the first professional female astronomer, the first one acknowledged and paid as an astronomer. Her name was Carolyn Herschel. And so Harry Kim is still an older ensign under Captain Naomi Wildman. Well, no, you know what? Have him be the commander. Have him be the second in command, number one. That would be fantastic. And I'd give him a family. I'd absolutely give Harry Kim a family. Make him a family man. Treat him right. And then any other person from Star Trek, that we can redeem, we can throw in there as well. Um, Maybe what is it? Balana's kid with Paris, Tom. Sure, sure, absolutely. Tom and Balana's kid is in Starfleet, and maybe a lieutenant or something. Maybe you get one of the other kids, like from DS9 or something, in there as well. Oh, you know what? One of the things I was gonna say, if he's interested, have Will come back. You know, have Lieutenant Commander, yeah, Molly O'Brien, right? Have Lieutenant Commander Wesley Crusher. He's old, but whatever. Like, absolutely do that. Or Chief Engineer. There you go, Chief Crusher. Absolutely. Now that I think of it, West needs to be on board that ship. One of them, at least. And you just explain that his cosmic powers and shit like that. That, like, it was a one way trip. It was like you do it and like, yeah, we don't talk about that or something. You know, retcon the whole thing. I don't give a shit. Admiral Picard comes on board and says, "Shut up, Wesley." No, no. Um, no. I want people to be redeemed. I would like Wesley to be, a little bit of a curmudgeon, like he doesn't like kids kids don't belong in the engineering or something like that. That'd be kind of funny if he had like just a moment. Nah, I'm just, like he says that and he's like, nah, I'm just messing with you. Come on in. That would be pretty sweet. Um, Heerage Ensign of Starfleet. Yep, yep. But yeah, just like I said, these three ships. Two of them are Starfleet. One of them is an ambassador for another. Like I was saying, Klingon, but it could be Vulcan or whatever. Or I always liked the idea on Discovery of the Vulcan and Romulan like reintegrating the two. Like the unification happens, and they decide to name themselves something else other than Romulan and Vulcan. They give themselves a reunified name, like on Discovery. Like I dig that idea. Um, I don't know if that's exclusively Discovery or not, but Navarre. Yep. Like that become one of the my character that I had in the Starfleet role playing game was a Vulcan counselor before he became the captain of the Caroline Herschel. His whole thing was about he studied the human mind and emotions and dealing like cognitive behavioral therapy and that sort of thing. So he was a psychologist, a therapist, sort of a deal. Um, he was a Vulcan that was a member of a group of Vulcans and Romulans that came together. And it wasn't a religion necessarily, but it was just a movement for a new progressive uh, a new order of a new generation of Vulcan and Romulans working together, and like I never that like when they came up with Navarre, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That like when I heard that, I'm like, that's what Vital was his name, and I'm like, that's exactly what he would be. It'd be like, the Vulcans were right and they were wrong. The Romulans were right and they were wrong. Like mistakes were made on both sides. Humans uh, kind of had the right idea, and so he he expanded his studies into all sorts of different cultures, human and Vulcan and Romulan, and like how Klingons handle emotion and um, taking care of oneself, having the tools to deal with trauma and just. So I wanted my guy to be like the healthiest Vulcan you could imagine. Like he loved to cook, because Spock was super close to that, but Spock was still one of those people that guarded his Vulcan side. He tried to work with it and his human side and have them coexist, sort of thing. So I would say Vital was one of the folks that, with the Romulans and Vulcans coming together, under Spock, sort of taking him as an example, and like, there's a better way. Vulcan wasn't the Vulcan way is not the way. The Romulan way is not the way. Um, uh, the human way is not necessarily the way. There's something in between there. Take all the good bits from all of it and see what we can do with it, and keep working at it. You know. So, I love the idea of my character, and that's one of the things that I wanted to see was like so it could be like I said, a Navarre vessel. They want to be, you know, they're going out on this mission not only to be ambassadors for the Alpha Quadrant, but and for their respective species, but they realize leaving the Alpha Quadrant behind, they're leaving the old ways behind. They're trying to find a new way, and so they're working alongside these other two ships that eventually they'll just mingle. Like they're all for it. Like, yeah, we'll mingle, and we'll figure out our way. We'll be introduced to new cultures, and that whole idea of new life, new civilizations, and um, that study of what it is to be a sentient being, and like just we'll get it right. Starfleet was saying that we'll go out and show them what Starfleet is awesome. One of my favorite Romulans is Commander Tomahawk. Commander Tomahawk. That sounds familiar. I'll have to look that up. It sounds familiar. Is that was that Andreas no, Andreas Katsoulis? Was it Andreas Katsoulis? Or was that oh, what's his name? David. Oh, I can't remember names. I can't remember actors' names. I hate that. Three Klingon ships came hidden. When the three Klingon ships came hidden. Um, I kind of want to say, is it the one where Riker had a son and they were trying to get information from Will? Because I want to say that was Andreas Katsoulis. but yeah, anyways, have them travel out, meet the new life and new civilizations. There's a bunch of territory that was okay. It was Andreas Katsulas. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, I'm like when you said my favorite Romulan is Commander, and I'm like he's the first person I think of. It's like one of the best Romulans. Yeah, he ended up becoming sort of an ally. He was kind of impressed with, if I remember correctly, he was kind of impressed with human guile. Maybe it was a dream I had. I don't know. But anyways, so like Voyager went out and they traveled a certain distance, but they used transwarp and they did all this weird shit and they skipped over a bunch of areas and stuff. And I'm like, so there's some uncharted territory. So we got like a couple dots to connect on Voyager's route. So there's a lot of species, a lot of people affected by the Borg. A lot like they had. There's a lot of stuff that you can do on that trail. You can just call it the Voyager Trail, or the Janeway Trail or something like that. Like there's a route that they need to take for the Starfleet humanitarian effort, and maybe there's other technology. There's like different. It start as you go. Like that would be what the main point of the series is, or to uncover, is okay. We're starting to realize there are multiple agendas. It's not just let's go do this. It's not. It's never as simple as let's just go out and find new life. You have a couple agents of other members of Starfleet. Voyager has a ton of episodes they could still do. Let's start Voyager continuation potential. Well, that's what I'm saying. With Voyager, it was an episodic thing. They were on their way. There was still a lot for them to do. Still a lot of ground for them to cover. But you could tell a lot of those stories um, uh, with a new crew, with a new younger crew. And the whole idea is to like just to get people. It's the old Star Trek, but with a new purpose. Because how like interesting that dynamic would be of everybody on board this ship has signed on knowing like they are on that ship because they've signed on the dotted line that they are never going to return to the Alpha Quadrant again. Like their mission is a life mission, and a lot of these are young kids that are the 20s and the early. You have some essential crew, and a lot of the best and brightest. Let's put it that way. Like they best and brightest, and that you have the advantage of youth, that they want to change. They want to change the situation. That they're got that good mix of we believe in the fundamentals of Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets. We believe and we want to do this mission. But the further they get away from their home, the more you start to see the cracks, and the more important it is for everybody to stay. Because it's one thing to say we need to find our way to get home. It's another to say that we're never going back, and to see that run across people's faces and actually sink into people's minds, which is the reason why you'd have the Navarre there. It's as much an exploration of the people that are heading out as it is an exploration of the people that you're going to meet. Reminds me of the episode where Chakotay has to repair a time broken ship where Icheb and Naomi discovered grown up on one of the decks. So many, like, because that the mental aspect of it, the realizing who you are as a person, who you are as um, it makes me feel really good because who I am after Pam passed away, who I am after I got rid of my home and I'm just in a van, and like the concept of home, the concept of living and growing old and life after something, unconventional living, you know, you're the to remove yourself and to travel, and traveling is the thing you are now, you know. Or like the idea of stuff that we need to face as people as well, like leaving Earth and living on the moon, or leaving Earth and living on Mars, like just living with that, dealing with the fact that you're not there anymore. Home is different than this planet that we're on. Home is different than this neighborhood that you've grown up in your whole life. You know, in a small town or something like that. It's like home is more than that. Everywhere is home. Where you are and how you grow up is home. You know, that's your neighborhood, and what it is to be a community, what it is to be, you know, just to have that really sink in and see characters interact with each other like that. That's awesome. I think that's a great idea, because when you're dealing with Star Trek, you're dealing with the Alpha Quadrant. It's been the Alpha Quadrant forever. Maybe you go out and you're at the edge of the Alpha Quadrant, or maybe like you're on DS9 and you're dealing with, um, you know, access to, was it Gamma Quadrant? Because Voyager was in Delta Quadrant. I think the wormhole went to the Gamma Quadrant. So everybody had like, um, not since Voyager, in dealing with the idea of being separated. You know, they had the mission of we need to go home, and then the eventual return. But just like that personally makes me really happy, to for a group of people on a mission to just like leave everything behind. Um, I forget what movie I was watching, but the Earth was destroyed. Maybe it was like Iron Sky or something like that, or I don't know. It was something where you see the world just explode, and like Earth is gone, and just like to see that, and to like still be alive and witness that, like would be it just devastating. Like that would be easier to cope with than these folks that are like, let's go, and everyone's all cheery and everyone's all, you know, gung ho, and we're going on this mission, goodbye everybody, and they go on the mission, they're like, we're doing something, and then then things start to break down, and uh, uh, but they're staying on the mission, and I just think that'd be so cool. That'd be like, oh no no no. I think that'd be great. And then the lessons that they learn are some intense lessons, and the mission always stays the same. That they, you know, we got to stick to the mission, and the mission is to show the people that we meet what civilization is like, what humanity is like, what United Federation of Planets is like, and that there is a way. And while some are thinking that the way is the United Federation of Planets, uh, the others, the Navarre or whatever, are saying, well, maybe the way isn't necessarily that way. Maybe the way is out there as well. Maybe it's a, you know, like, I'd say that if I'm gonna make a character, I'm gonna make Vital, Captain Vital, or what would he be called? What was T'Pol's rank in in the Vulcan, sub commander? That was her name. It was sub commander. That's right. She ended up becoming a commander, but it was sub commander. So you know, um, maybe he could have the status of sub commander. I don't know. Um, uh, I don't know. You work out the rank later, but I just if you had a character like Vital, a guy who was basically leading the mission on behalf of the Navarre, um, and his whole thing was to study the other two ships on the mission just as much as the people that they meet up, and sort of oversee um, the interaction and the whole experience and gather as much data as possible, um, work as a counselor for the crews, uh, to make sure the mission stays on target, stays on point, kind of thing. Um, as ambassadors and as scientists as well. Um, that would be so cool. But like I said, dealing with the human mind or the sentient mind. Everybody keeping everybody else accountable. I'd watch the hell out of. Give me 3 seasons of that. I'd watch the hell out of it. Add on a new android. You can do that. You can. Shit. What else can you do? A couple of those species that existed, the Enterprise era species. There's got to be a whole bunch of those that we can revisit. Throw in, like I said, because I want to throw in a little bit of Enterprise, a little bit of TOS, a little bit of. I think we should call you Commander Matt Roddenberry. Um, Enterprise, you got that the reintroduce the NX-01 Akira um, style ship on a different scale. Like he wants a whole bunch of callbacks to that, like the Tucker class ship. Um, the original series, you got the wagon train to the stars aspect of it, the exploring new worlds, strange new worlds, new lives, new civilizations, all that. So you got that theme with the original series. With Next Generation, like I said, you could throw in Chief Crusher as the bring Wesley back as the chief of engineering. Um, uh, Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine. Another Trill? Could you have Dax? Um, could you have what could you do there? Not a changeling, right? That's what I was kind of thinking. Like maybe you have a Dax. Um, Maybe that could be the second in command or something, or um, could Julian? Could Julian be the if it's going to be a medical ship? You could have Bashir on board. That was going to be the next Like I love the character. I love the actor is amazing. Alexander Siddig. Was it Siddig El Fadil? Whatever he goes by. He was fantastic as Raj Al Ghul. So maybe you could have him come back and just be bring Julian back. That's a great idea. But I like the idea of a new Dax. As a matter of fact, okay, so my Star Citizen character for the game Star Citizen, I wanted to make a character, and the only thing I had in mind was my call sign, my name on, because I didn't want to go with 3231. I just wanted to throw in, try something different. So I'm like, what's a good representation of me? And the TRS 80 from Radio Shack, they used to call it the Trash 80. And so I made a character Trash underscore AD instead of 80 because I like the idea of just being called Trash. And I came up with a backstory with this really quick, just off of that. I'm like, okay, Trash. What is Trash like? And I'm like, that's exactly what he was. He was a nobody. He was a scrapper. He like one of the cool things about Star Citizen is you can be a salvager. Um, like that's what he did. Is like he did odd jobs, and then he just found out that when he traveled, one of the best jobs that he had that he kept coming back to no matter what, because it was easy work, was to be a salvager for a guy that owned uh, a scrapyard, and that got him out into space. And that's what I'm going to look into when the game comes out, or when they start building the game. There's a couple cool ships that you could do. They could be a scrapper. So I'm like, all right, that's what he'll do, salvage. So his name just became Trash because that's what he dealt with. And I'm like, AD. This was where I'm getting at. AD. All right, that will be his name. AD. His call sign would be Trash AD, but the AD would stand for what? And I'm like, Aldo. So I called him Aldo Dax. Was his name. And I kind of jokingly thought to myself, I'm like, what if he was what if he was a member of the family? I was gonna give him spots and everything, but I don't think we can do that. But it was just kind of funny. I came up with a name. I'm like, Aldo Dax sounds awesome. So there you go. Just named another character in the TV series. Aldo Dax aboard one of the other ships. And the cool thing will also be the fact that you had Jadzia and Ezri, but then to have a male character taking on maybe you have both. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you had Julian Bashir and Aldo Dax aboard the same ship, so you have this guy who's in a relationship with. Oh man, that'd be great. What a cool. What one more wrinkle that'd be a great addition to the story. Like they're just really good friends, and they still have feelings for each other, even though they don't. Even though like they're kind of enemies. No, not enemies, but they're kind of strangers. Uh, Esri passed on, and it was time to move on to another host. And so Aldo's the new host, some dude. That'd be fantastic. So you have the continuation of a relationship, but a huge wrinkle. And welcome to Tennessee, where everybody just yells at each other. Um, nice. I just think that'd be kind of cool. You have Julian and Aldo. They're like they've been friends for. They have a special relationship with each other. They still kind of have feelings for each other. Alexander Shinko becomes a Klingon ambassador. Sure. Have Alexander back on board? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that'd be great. Also, what would be really neat is with all the technology that they have and the way that they can travel, and they're getting further and further away from the Alpha Quadrant. There's only so long because before there's a point of no return, like no signal that we can send, no technology that we have, nothing's going to be able to reach you past a certain point. So there's a point in space and time when they're going to travel out and be like, to really assess the situation, which will be the end of the first season. They'll really assess the situation and realize, no, we need to go. We need to do this. Like it's rocky and there's problems and there's all these different aspects of it, and they finally realize, they come to the conclusion that what's our final this, we won't be able to communicate with Starfleet past this point. We won't be able to get any sort of help or whatever. So uh, we have to decide before we reach these coordinates, which would be building tension, which would be fantastic for a storyline. Um, uh, so maybe you have. Oh, and there was a point where they had. Uh, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. So they're also going to set up beacons. What the reason for the three ships. One was an escort, one was a main science vessel doing the research, and the other ship was going to be a supply ship. It was going to be a cargo ship. That's what it was. The third ship was going to be a cargo ship because its sole purpose was to house the equipment. Like basically, they would um, create beacons and like they could replicate the parts and stuff like that, but they needed to have these beacons like you can't just pull matter like the with the technology that they had to save on power. They had to save. I was trying to remember the wrinkle with that. Um, that they would absolutely need a stockpile of these beacons to place, subspace beacons to place on the trail to connect with folks. Like they were they self-replicating or something like that. Like it was something interesting about them where they would, they had to be certain devices that could stand the test of time and could withstand, um, they were programmed a certain way to last a while until they could actually, you know, build deep space stations and stuff like that until they can bring out that sort of thing. So, um, and maybe eventually get the technology where they can uh, strengthen the trail, um, pave the trail from their end as well. And so it was a really cool idea that when it coming up on all this stuff, I'm like, oh, that's great, that's fantastic. you could get a solid 3 seasons out of all that stuff, especially with the stuff that we just added now, like the Aldo Dax and Bashir together. That will probably make a good module. I was gonna say that would probably be good for a game to run a campaign. See, that's the Star Trek that I love. That's the reason why I'm not super thrilled about Picard and Discovery, because it's like, that's fine. That's all fine, I guess. Discovery is certainly a lot better than it was the first couple of seasons. But getting back to the whole thing of exploration and no, I think you would like Star Trek Prodigy though. I'll try to watch it. I'll try to watch it. The one gimmick about that is when they reuse the. I mean, it's clever. It's a gimmick though. They reuse a lot of the old audio. It's a clever gimmick. So I'm not totally discounting it, but yeah, I'll give it a watch. I was waiting for a bunch of episodes anyways, and I could just you know kind of tear through them. Strange New Worlds with Anson Mount should be good as well. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. Like, Anson Mount is awesome. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, and so that's my pitch. I don't know what I would call um, Strange New World would be an awesome name for my pitch for a show, but can't do that. So yeah, I couldn't think of a name for my Star Trek series, but nope. 10,000 Strange New Worlds. Nope, can't do that. I mean, I could just scrap my whole idea about the experimental ship and just basically create the next Voyager. We could just have the ship go back called Voyager. But it's not just about Voyager, though. It's about all three of the ships. It's about everybody in the group. That's why I like the idea, because you do a show about a ship, and then you do the show about the same ship but a later version of the ship. Then you do a story about a space station. Then you do another ship that's not the ship everybody knows. And then the next series is, remember the name of that ship that you like, the third Enterprise, like the Star Trek's not about the Enterprise, guys. There's other ships. So that's why I was thinking the Caroline Herschel will be one of the ships and stuff like that. The kind of like, because ever since Battlestar Galactica, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't need to be about one ship, one crew. It could be about all these people on these ships. Everybody has a purpose, like the trying to keep everybody afloat. Um, like I said, a literal wagon train to the stars. I love the new Battlestar Galactica. Uh, yeah, like that's it's fantastic. Um, there's still a lot of miles to run on those series, like the Battlestar Galactica. Well, not on Battlestar necessarily, because that's pretty good. I wouldn't reboot that. I've heard that they were thinking about bringing that back again, but it's like, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty much that's a good story to tell the way it is told. Um, and bringing back Babylon 5, I absolutely bring back Babylon 5, and don't have it be like a reboot. Just have it be show some of the have it keep Babylon 5, just like maybe just call it the Babylon Project or something like that. Just maybe um doesn't have to be a direct. Katie Sackhoff is awesome. Yeah, she is. Absolutely. Uh the only thing that I wish was that Bruce Boxleitner could that can we clone Bruce Boxleitner? Never seen Babylon 5? So it hasn't aged well, but it's a solid story. Like it was. So Babylon 5 is a, I forget how many seasons. Like maybe, yeah, I don't remember how many seasons it was, but it was a story that was written with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like it knew when they wrote the pilot, they knew how the series was going to end, and it all tied in. The pilot tied into the end of the film, the filming. Um, all the events, like that's exactly what I would want. Something like this new Star Trek movie. Would love it to borrow, or at least have it be the same for the Babylon 5 reboot. Have them know the story they want to tell. J. Michael Straczynski, I think, is trying to push for the. So I mean, he may have it figured out again. Like it's a continuing story, from what I've heard. Um, and which is pretty awesome, because to know the whole story from beginning to end and know it's going to span several seasons, like that's smart. That helped me figure out how I want to write. Like anytime I want to do a project, I'm like to have it all figured out. Um, I started writing Strange Crimes. Um, the idea I had for a show, uh, using GTA 5 for a platform. Stargate is another one. I think I've seen the original movie. That's about it for that series. Okay, so Stargate SG-1 is the only one I really like. I really don't dig Atlantis or I can't even remember the other ones. Universe. Um, SG-1, I watched it solid. I binged it for about 5 seasons. And then I just sort of, other stuff happened, and I just kind of trailed off and left it behind. But great series, great concept. That's another one of the main influences for 10,000 Worlds. But yeah, Babylon 5, I really want to recommend it because it was a cool series, but it didn't age well. Like if they remastered it, if they came out with it again, like looking a lot better and updated a lot, they'd need to update a lot of shit in order to really appreciate it. But at the time, it was pretty cool. It was the first TV series that used like that relied heavily on CGI. But you can tell it's like oof, oof, like screensaver looking compared to what we're used to now. Windows Windows 2000 screensaver. Now, I'm trying to think of what I would call the Star Trek series. Final Frontier has been used before, so I wouldn't call it that. Delta. Hmm. We had Windows 98 on our first computer. Nice. So it'd have to do with. It'd have to have a theme like Wagon Train to the Stars, but not that name. And it wouldn't be the name of a ship, but it'd have to have something to do with the Delta Quadrant because they're heading towards the like Delta Bound or something like that. But I wouldn't call it Delta Bound. Just kind of like maybe the maybe using the word Delta in there, but um, like Mission Delta or something like that, or but that sounds too cold. That sounds too impersonal. You want something that's uplifting, something that like provokes, like I said, Voyager or Next Generation esque. The Discovery, name of the ship. Um, Prodigy is a good example of Delta Airlines, Delta Space Lines. Delta, I hardly know her. Like I dig the Strange New Worlds. Like that's a fantastic. That would be a fantastic name for the series. I'm glad they used that. Um, like what did they call Expedition? Maybe they could do that. Star Trek Expedition. That would be all right. Um, Too bad they use the word generation because that would be Delta experience. I was thinking Delta expanse, but like because they're expanding into the Delta Quadrant. But, I don't know. Hmm. Oregon Trail. There's something there, anyways. To boldly go? No. Trying to think. Boldly go? No. A DC Comics, but the Brave and the Bold would be kind of neat. That's kind of a neat. That sort of name would be kind of neat. But you can't use Brave and Bold. Delphic Expanse and Enterprise. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of close to that. But yeah, you don't call it the name of a ship. You don't call it. It's got to. It's got to evoke the idea of blazing a trail. Um, well, it's not really blazing a trail because it's you're going backwards on a trail. Uh, you don't want to call it something like Return to Delta, or something like that. Bilbo Expanse, New Quadrant, Hoodith. Um, I don't know. Somebody more clever than me could think of a name. I'll be on here for another hour just thinking about. I'm trying to think of a name. My battery's about to go. I'm at 19% battery. All right, I think I'm gonna take off then because I gotta go use the bathroom and get something to eat. And I ate like 5 hours ago, and my belly's a little gurgly, so I got something to settle my stomach. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, man. It was cool to jam out. So I don't know if you knew this or not, David, but um, I'm pretty much telling everybody on our broadcast that Wednesday nights is going to be a regular thing coming soon. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ben and I want to do weekly. Want to do a podcast, and I'm not sure when it's going to be because I want to give Ben an opportunity. You know, once he's done his midterms and all that stuff, he's in school, so I don't know what his schedule will afford. So I'm totally leaving that to him. But I'm just starting to let folks know that Wednesday night on a regular basis, we're going to start doing our podcast, and we want to have folks, available to come in and join us. Delta Forward, yeah, sure. That's Star Trek Delta Forward, or just call it Delta Forward. Sure, that could work. No, that's fantastic. Or Forward Delta or something like that. Like that sounds militaristic. That sounds tactical. Either Forward Delta or Delta Forward. Yeah, absolutely. We'll throw both of those up. Put it to a vote. Um, So, okay, just giving folks a heads up. Hope that people are available evenings on Wednesday. It's a nice day, middle of the week. I'm not going to get in anybody's way for anything. And we're not going to be on for very long, so it's not like people are going to have to stay up like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night or whatever. We'll probably, we're hoping for like an hour and a half that we can do two 45-minute shows, just to run content and have it, have extra episodes when we need to, um, put it out for a podcast. Eventually, have it so that when we do enough content, get enough interest, we'll do like a Patreon sort of thing, so that the chat is a Patreon, Patreon subscribers only sort of a thing. So less need for mods and stuff with YouTube or whatever. For now, I'm broadcasting on Haps right now, and it goes out to Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. So that's what I would kind of do. We will broadcast it on Haps, have it forward out to the other platforms, and hopefully get people interest. Find out who's interested, who watches the show on what platform the most, and get mods in those chats. And Discord would be fantastic too. That's where That's where I would think the eventual home would be, was everybody jump in the chat. For Discord, um, we just see which way the wind blows on that, and then decide what chat room to keep. Like I said, maybe we go on Twitch. Maybe we just broadcast on Twitch and take the Twitch chat. But not a guy. I don't know if I want to do that or not. There's things, the bad things that can happen on there. But I want to get into. I want to learn more about Twitch, like overlays and stuff, and what we need to promote the show, and what kind of production wise, what kind of stuff we want to do graphically and whatnot. And to be able to have folks make donations, that sort of thing, the Patreon, all that, sponsors, etc. But not have to worry about like a lot of terms of service stuff. So I don't know. That's as far as the live streaming is concerned, and then the breaking things down, editing it up for a podcast to throw on Spotify so people can download that whenever they want. But yeah, the chat, it would end up being probably Discord. But it would be whatever, I would certainly take strongly into account what other people want to, how other people want to contribute, and how they want to digest their info. So the answer would be yes. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the places, until we find out where people are comfortable, where our home should be. I have Discord, don't use it much, but I do have it. Cool. Well, that, like I said, that's mainly what I'd end up having is, like, if you're comfortable watching us on whatever platform, go to that platform, you'll watch us. If you want to be a part of it, you could even join the chat. Like I said, we could have mods where the people go, so other people's voices would be heard. If you want if we do exclusive stuff, having a place where we have the control of people coming in, I mean, we will probably lose people, like leaning towards subscribers, but then again, we're putting on a product where it's not. Patreon has proven that, plenty of other podcasts, plenty of other live stream shows can go back in time and use Periscope. Man, if we had Periscope, I'd be fine with that. And TikTok and stuff like that too, doing live streaming on there. Like the whole thing is to promote us so that we can direct people where we want to go blow a thing up, so that we can get on there and do that, like Instagram or or TikTok or wherever, you know. as long as we can get the what they call it, RTMP or whatever, the protocols, so that we can, wherever we broadcast, we can broadcast to that specific thing. It doesn't matter where we go, whatever. It's just whatever everybody's comfortable with. Getting closer to 1,000 followers on TikTok. No, still at like 650. I haven't checked my TikTok in a little bit either, um, just because I haven't been really motivated towards that. Uh, but yeah, 650 is still pretty good. Like we're a lot closer away than closer to it than we were at, like, what was it, 300, 400, something like that. So uh, I may start throwing content on there as well, to direct people to it. Oh, I thought I saw a big red mark. It's just my shadow from the glasses. It's all that looked like super red. That's kind of red, but that looks super red, at least to me. All right, so I'm gonna get going. Have a great day. Enjoy your Monday. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm gonna be back on tonight, but tomorrow I have an appointment at about 9 a.m. And then I think I have D&D group about 5-ish in the evening. So at some point between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., I'll jump back on. Probably lunchtime. So if I don't get on back on tonight and we don't see each other, I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Anybody watching on replay, thank you very much for tuning in. Please follow me if you haven't followed me yet. Share the broadcast with your friends. Always nice to make new friends. And I am on social media at 3TWO3ONE. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Haps, everywhere. So I'll see you later on. Love you.